Okay, so good afternoon, sir. Welcome to our makeup class no for methods of research. So yesterday or October 5, we didn't have any class since you celebrated World Teachers Day. So as of now, I'm going to conduct a makeup class, no. So to at least um dili ta ma-delayed no kay we started late with our methods of research class. Supposedly we are going to start with August, but we started this September. Aside from that, no, next Saturday we won't have any class again, so there are two Saturdays nga dili ta ka meet because atong gahapon October 5 and then next Saturday which will be October 12 because you will have our foundation day. So instead, I will be sending you a recording no, from my previous masteral classes. So na ako'y class sa masteral atong pag-summer. I want you to watch that no, this coming Saturday, October 12, and then I also want you to watch this pre-recorded video no, sa ato ang lesson for types of research. No. So supposedly, I'm going to introduce right away with introduction. Um, I haven't received your title yet. I do not know basta natabunan na po sa akong messages, but I do hope you'll be able to send it to me next week, no, so that you can start on your introduction. So with this, no, since I have learned from you that you don't have like medyo nalimtan na nimo or wala na kayo kay idea with the different types of quantitative research and qualitative. So I will be introducing a very brief lang nga background on the different types of quanti and qualitative research para to give you an idea on what kind of research design would you want to pursue. So we discussed last time um, the nature of a research paper, what is the importance of doing research. So this time I'm going to introduce what is quantitative research, what is qualitative, what are the difference nilang duha, no, unsay examples pud niya nga research type, so that you will also be familiar with it and you have an idea kung unsa nga klase katong imuhang napili na nga title, unsa siya nga klase nga quantitative research or unsa siya nga klase nga qualitative research. So for now, no, I will focus with the quantitative research because for me, I deemed it is easier. At the same time, for me lang ha, kay since I'm more accustomed to the quantitative research, no, kay sa quali man god, I wanted to try it katong nag-doctorate nako, but again, no, more on quanti may because of the scope of our study, ginan sila bigger scope and I cannot do mixed method if maabot og almost 1,000 na ako ang respondent. So I opted Japan for quantitative research. But hopefully in the future, I will be able to also explore on how to do qualitative, no, to give me an experience po on how to do it. So for quantitative research, katong title nga mong napilian sir pag last time, pwede to siya quantitative research, no. So we deal with numerical data. So it's stated here that quantitative research, no, deals with numerical values and how they can describe a phenomenon or infer a relationship. So most of our questions or our data gathering instrument to ang survey questionnaire, close-ended siya, very limited questions because kita ang naay control on what kind of questions atong ipangutana, and then the kind of responses nga itong makuha po sa to ang participants or respondents nato are limited. It's not open-ended like an interview or for example focus group discussions, dili man na siya ing ana nga open-ended question, no, dili jud exactly nga naa sila option, so they can freely discuss whatever it is nilang answer based from the question. Si quantitative dili ing ana, no, si quantitative deals with numerical data. It's very rigid, no. At the same time, when it comes to quantitative research, mas daghan ang participants to ensure the validity of the results of the survey, or for example, to really ensure nga ang results sa survey kay objective, no, at the same time accurate. So for quantitative research, it is the go-to approach for scientific inquiry because its ability to test hypotheses, unlike qualitative research. So the basis of formulating and testing hypotheses are variables. So our variables are very important it should be stated first in our statement of the problem, as well as it should be clear no ma-identify din nato siya sa ato apod nga title, because the variables are what we measure in our study. This is where we also pattern our survey questionnaire from the variables stated in our statement of the problem. So, variables are traits that numerically describe or give meaning to an object, phenomenon, or group of people. So, you can have several variables. No? We have control variables, we have intervening variables. No? Pinaka-common is independent, dependent variables. So, variables are the ones that are usually identified, examined, described, or correlated to answer a scientific inquiry. Okay? So, take for example, I want to know the viability of establishing a tester training center in Colegio de Santa Rita de San Carlos Incorporated. In terms of the financial aspect, the management aspect, unsa pa lain, financial, socio-economic, no? So kana mga different aspects, no, kung naabay financial capacity ang school, ano ba sila they have the capacity ba to manage the said facility, ang cost pod sa training kay affordable ra siya sa part pod sa katong mga trainees or gusto mo train sa training center nga i-establish ni Santa Rita, no, just like other schools like VMA, no, nga na sila yung mga TESDA training centers or USJR nga naadjud sa ilaha accredited, no, by TESDA nga naadjud within sa ilang school. So akong mga variables anay syempre katong mga different aspects, no, like the financial, socio-economic, or if it's a experimental research, no, like an example of that could be I want to know kung unsa ang mas effective nga type of light, no, to encourage or to speed up plant growth. So for example, since it's experimental research, no, so you will get the same type of plant. You have 3 plants and you will duplicate, but you have 3 plants, but they come from like the same species or the same type of plant, no. Ang height nila the same, no. What else? Or pwede seeds ganino kay para mas mo control pa jud nato, no. You'll get the same type of seed from the same type of plant, and then idungan nimo sila og tanom from the same amount of soil, same amount of water, same amount of fertilizer. The only difference lang ana, because it's in a controlled environment, the only difference lang ana is the colored lights, no. So you'll expose the seeds or the seedlings in different colored lights, no. One will be exposed to blue, one will be exposed to green, one will be exposed to yellow. And then in a matter of like weeks or months, you will then observe if which of the seedlings will grow rapidly, asa dira ang mga seedlings kung wala dyan grow, or wala dyan kausaba, no, or asa dira ang gamay ra ang yung growth, no, dili dyan ang naka-drastic, diba? So variables mo ana syempre ang growth sa plant, because that is the dependent variable, and then the different colored lights is your independent variable because they have an effect to the dependent variable, which is the growth of the plant. Basically, kung unsa pa na siya nga type of quantitative research imong i-approach, kung unsa na ang imuhang studyhan or unsa ang focus, no, whether it might be a person or a phenomenon or a group of people, no, so yung ana, those are your variables, no, kato imong gina-measure sa imong study. And it's so important that we identify our variables from the very beginning or from the initial phase of our research, because everything is actually patterned from our variables, na our definition of terms, our conceptual framework, our RRL, our questionnaire, everything is patterned from our statement of the problem. And in our statement of the problem, that is where we usually see the variables, our identified variables, which is to be measured and to be identified or to be observed, no, in the all throughout the research process. So again, no, the very common is the independent and the dependent variable. There are so many different variables pod, no. We have control variable, we have intervening variables. So for now, let us first familiarize ourselves with the most common one, the independent variable and the dependent. So, ang independent variable is the variable that is manipulated, especially in experiments. So, muna siya ang effect, dako nga effect sa ato ang dependent variable, and muna siya ato ang pwede ra ma-manipulate. We cannot manipulate the dependent variable because it will change the result of the experiment or the research. So, ang independent variable ra ang allowed ta nga mo hilabot no or mo manipulate. So, katong example ako kanina sa plants, the independent variable there is the different colored lights because we already controlled the other things in the experiment. No, we controlled what type of seed it is. We controlled the amount of soil, the amount of water to be given, and the amount of fertilizer. We place the different pots, no, kay same size po sa pots, no, we place at the 3 pots of seedlings or seeds in a controlled environment, like for example in a laboratory with controlled temperature. Okay, the only difference lang ana is lain-lain ang suga, and katotong i-manipulate like the lain-lain nga suga, that is the independent variable. While ang katong mausab, no, the dependent variable that changes because of the independent variable is ang growth sa plants. Because the control variable there, no, we have another variable put also in the experiment. No? The control variable there is the type of seedling, the amount of soil, the amount of water. Gi-control na to siya para dili siya maka-influence sa results of the study, no? Kay unfair kayo if ang usa ka plant dako na or ang usa ka plant lain siya nga species, no? Dili siya actually makasay nga accurate ang results kay tungod kani siya nga type of plant is different. So ta kabalo basin they react differently to this kind of light compared to the other plant sa lain nga species, di ba? So it should be the same type of plant to really ensure that accurate ang results sa experiment. Okay? Another example where there is a visible difference between the independent and dependent variable. This is the most common example that I usually give to my students. No, this is in the case of hamsters. So you get the same hamster from the same family. They are of the same age. They are of the same gender. Okay, basically the same weight. No, same age, gender, same sila kadakuon, same ang weight niya tanan. Now, one hamster or hamster A will be placed in a diet of fruits and natural feeds, while ang hamster B will be placed with like synthetic feeds, no. Other than synthetic feeds pud siya like kanang we hatag tanyag ka ng mga kanang mga dili siya natural like mga like chemicals burner unsa, no, to really ensure if there is like brain growth or it improves memory. We are going to do this for a couple of months. After that, you would let those two hamsters undergo a separate trial through running or completing a maze. Kani siya nga maze, parehas ra pud silang duha, no? Like same maze ra ilang agian. But inyong latawon dira is ang pag-solve nilang puzzles, ang kapaspason po nila nga makakuan, no? So, imong latawon dira kinsa pinakapaspas og reaction time in finishing the maze. Okay? So, ang dependent variable dira class is ang memory, if there's an improvement sa memory sa hamster or wala. Tungod sa gimanipulate nato nga variable which is ang different diets nila, no? The other one has like natural diet, the other one is like full of chemicals, synthetic feeds, no? So, dili mo mahuman, hindi mo mabalaan ini kahuman sa experiment if asa jud dira sa ilang pagkaon ang effective in improving memory, diba? So, yung naon basta dependent variable gani, siya ang mag-usab because of the independent variable, because of the effects of the independent variable. Well, the independent variable is the variable that we manipulate in order to see if there are changes in the dependent variable. So, mao na siya. Usually, it's common among causal research, experimental research. So there are several characteristics of a quantitative research. There is controllability, there is generalizability, objectivity, and replicability. When we talk about controllability, we can control the environment, we can identify the variables. This is not only applied to the experimental research, although it's common in experimental research, but this also applies to all types of quantitative research. Why? Well, if you don't control your respondent, ano controllable po siya? Like, for example, no, if mag-survey ka, dili siya experimental, like mag-survey lang ka. You can place them in one area, you administer the questionnaire to them for them to answer. And the questions there are controlled. No, you give them limited time, you also instruct them how to answer, what not to answer, ha. You explain to them, no, the questions individually so that they can understand the question. But the responses there are controlled. It's not an open-ended type of questionnaire wherein they can just say whatever they want to say. Okay. So, ang ilaha, kung surgery na adil nga choices, more lang pilion. No? There's controllability in quantitative. Other than, the environment is also controlled, like in experimental, wherein you make sure that the area will not be, or let's say, ang area kung asa na conduct ang experiment, dili maapektuhan ang ang experiment itself kay base na niya if exposing mo siya sa gawas or na yung mga tao mo si agi-agi, that could also alter the result of the experiment and it will not be accurate anymore, diba? So it should be controlled. It should be in a controlled environment. Apil ng ubang variables ana to really ensure the accuracy of the results. And generalizability is from a larger sample size that the results are based on a representative of the population. Unlike qualitative that we can only get like 5 to 10 people because we have to interview them and we have to really get like the verbatim nila nga responses. So dili man na Sorry, wait lang for a while. Okay, so sorry. Let us continue. So, with generalizability, it's not like qualitative wherein, we can just select 5 or 10 people to answer or to conduct like an interview or focus group discussion. Kay we will get like the verbatim jud nga word for word nila nga responses man good, no? And we have to provide it in the manuscript. Unsa jud ang ilang isulat dira nga responses. Because we will be conducting theme analysis, no? So, unsay mga usual like similarities to the responses during the interview, diba? But with quantitative, our questions are close-ended and then answer sila kung sinaadira sa mga options nga provided sa imong questionnaire. And the more nga daghag mo answer, the better, the more accurate it is. That's why when we do quantitative, dili na siya ingon nga 50 is enough, no? If you can do like more than 50, like 100 or even close to 300, that is already substantial to provide accurate answers, no? Kay let's say if I conduct a survey, no, nga unsa inyong preferred modes of learning nya ang estudyante diri sa imong eskwelahan abi mahulog og 300 ka estudyante per 5 ra imong gipangutana. Syempre, dili na sila accurately maka-represent sa entire population. You need a substantial number of people to actually represent the entire population. And you cannot get everyone, ha. For example, let's say you have 1,000 students. You cannot get all of them as your respondents. It would really take a lot of time. So you only get a sample size to represent the entire population. Let's say, for example, out of 1,000, only 300 or half of the population, like 500 ra, ang imuhang ikuha as respondents. Pero they are evenly distributed per classroom para tanan na ay chance sa ma-appeal sa survey. There is a possibility that the results of that survey will be accurate because makuha dyan mo ang almost all of the responses of the student body. Unlike kung 5 lang. Let's say, katong 5, silang 5, nagsabot sila nga, ang ilang gusto nga mode of transportation kay, mode of learning kay online. Nunyo, waka kabalo di ay nga, katong 5, mag-online lagi sila, kay 5 rin mong gitag survey. Waka kabalo nga, ang 60 di ay kabuk estudyante mas prefer di ay nila ang face-to-face, di ba? So, the smaller the number of people who will represent as your respondents, the more less accurate it is. But the more respondents that you have that will represent the entire population, the more accurate it is. That's why misking like atibutan no daghan kay tao sa Carlos City. Wala dyan ako sila gikuha tanan kay it will take a lot of time nung abutag siyam if tanan akong kwaon. I just got like siguro 400 kapin no 422, and not all of them are tourist ha. Some of them works in like events company, city tourism office, depende mo gud sa nature sa ko apod nga study no kay more on tourism man akong study. So, katong 400 that is already enough or substantial enough to represent the entire population of San Carlos City. Kay daghan-daghan naman gud siya. Okay? Mabitaw kaingon sila nga, 100% passing rate me sa board exam. Pero panguntanan nimo pila ka book ilang estudyante ning take sa board exam? Tulo ra pod, no? So, quantity matters also in research. Quality and quantity matters in research. So, ano, mukha silang sample sizes that represents the entire population. Next is objectivity. So, unlike ni qualitative nga, kung sino feel nila at that moment based on the question that you give to them, mo pud ang itubag sa imuha. But with quantitative, it's more observable and measurable because it uses structured instruments. Naka-determine na unsay questions and na po yung mga options dira. They cannot go beyond what is in the options, no? So, kung unsa na dyan dira sa options, mura po ilang pilion, no? So, although it's very rigid, no? And then, ang nakasetback lang ana is, what if napadyo kay gusto nga itubag ani nga question pero wala sa choices, mo lang po na setback, pero you have no choice, no? Because it's a more structured instrument, rigid si quantitative, and na determine na daanon sa ang mga responses, na all you have to do is just select. Unlike ni quali nga, imo jud silang pangutanon, ni interview jud mo sila, mag-open group discussions or focus group discussions sila. And it's also replicable, no? So, na-mention naman ako ni before nga, we can replicate, di ba, the study. Not just replicate, but even continue what the other researchers have already started, no? So, the research study should be replicable by other teams of researchers. Nga other researchers can also continue what you have started because it's feasible, no? It's doable. Okay? That will eventually come up with similar outcomes. They can continue your body of work, no, with research because it is feasible, it is relevant, your study topic is relevant pod. And again, no, di mo mahurot tanan. So, na areas na nga wala na covered sa mong study, pwede sila mo continue. So, what are the strengths of quantitative research? Analysis of data is assisted with statistical methods. So again, you will be using statistical tools with this, no? Because right after that you have collected the data through a survey instrument, the next thing that you will do is you will tabulate the responses, no? Pila ka book ang ni answer og strongly agree, strongly disagree, agree, disagree, and then neutral. Pila ka book ang ning answer ana out of my 400 respondents. Pila ning answer tagsa-tagsa sa mga options per question. Like how many answered strongly agree for question number 1? How many answered strongly disagree? How many answered disagree? The next question, pila po ang ni answer strongly agree. So on and so forth. You tabulate, no? That is frequency, no? Pila ka book ang ning answer. And then you convert it into percentage, no? So frequency count and percentage distribution, that is part of descriptive statistics. and then you get the weighted mean for each of the questions, each of the responses for the questions. Okay? If you have inferential questions, like you want to know the significant difference or significant relationship between two variables, kaya nagbutang kag inferential questions, so it should be treated with inferential statistics like ANOVA, t-test, z-test, person R. It depends on your statistician. Because you don't have to deal with this alone. No? You have the statistician to actually help you out with this. So, again, no, it involves statistical methods to really ensure the accuracy of the responses or the results. No, large-scale research can be undertaken. Like what I've said, you can even proceed with like provincial level na or national level type of research with quantitative. No, like my study, unang duwi kay na ko na human, no, mahulog almost 2 years, so mag 1 year pa man manog 1 year pa man ko sa akong research, so mag almost 2 years tapod ko sa research, no. Because ang scope sa akong study is tibuok Negros Occidental. So larger scale basta like example doctorate, no, nya kung kuan gani kung masteral mas mayo kung if you compare data gani between different schools, no, dili lang siya limited to your school alone. If kay syempre pang masteral naman di naman ni siya pang undergraduate. Kung undergraduate ka pwede ra focus sa kaso sa school, no, but if you are in like the postgraduate studies, it should be a larger scale type of research. And then data can be presented in graphical or tabular form, which is easier for our readers to comprehend the data that you have collected from the respondents. Aside from the like tabulated na nimo ang responses, there should be like a written discussion also, written interpretation. So important in chapter 3, no, nga when you collect data and when you tabulate it, you'll also be able to interpret what does it mean, no, ngano daghan ang ni answer og yes aning number 1, number 2, number 3, no. So despite of having its several advantages, it also has its weaknesses, no, sa quantitative research. A large sample size requires a lot of time and effort, and that is true. Usually it would take you like 1 to 2 months to complete your survey, unlike sa undergraduate nga smaller scale. It will only take them weeks to finish their data gathering, but for postgraduate studies, and especially in conducting quantitative, since our respondents, no, the sample size is so big, dili siya pareha sa qualitative nga pila lang siya ka number of people imong interview. So it requires a lot of time and effort, no, to conduct survey, no. Statistical analysis of data requires an expert to perform, and that is true, no. Wala pa Sir Abiliar yun, but once you will conduct your survey questionnaire, once you conduct your survey, no, once you are on the like half part of the research paper, and na naka sa data analysis, na naka sa pag-identify pila ibuk mong sample size, na naka sa part nga human na ka og surveys, you need to tabulate your responses. You will need a statistician for that, no? So kami gabayad me when I was still doing my master's thesis. Gabayad, no? Karon pud gani no mobahay na po ko sa akong statistician to really check if sakto ako ang pag-tabulate sa data, sakto ako ang pagkuha sa sample size. Okay? Sakto ang statistical tool nga ako ang ginagamit. So it requires an expert for you to perform. Quantifying and reducing observations to numerical values makes it too simplistic, because you're just simply going to interpret what is in the table. Okay? Ano yung pinaka-importante? You know how to interpret it. You know how to interpret the data that has been collected. Okay, so remember, research has its own strengths and weaknesses. It is important that we are aware of both. Okay, so let us now proceed to the types of quantitative research. So there are two types of quantitative research, and then napodosay subparts. First, we have the experimental research. Under that is the true experimental and the quasi-experimental research. Basically, ang process nilang duha is just the same, no? True and quasi-experimental research are just the same. The only difference na nila is how we classify the participants in the experiment, no? The other one would require non-random participants of the experiment, and the other is random nga participants. Ang isa non-random, ang isa random. So, non-experimental, so muna yung pinaka-common jud nga ato ang ma-encounter once we do like research writing. So, usually non-experimental man ta, no? So, we have descriptive, comparative, and correlational research. So, linlain is sila, no? Depending on the nature of the study. So, bag-or na ko gisulti, no? Ang experimental o non-experimental, it depends on the topic and the nature of the problem being investigated. So, kung unsa gani ang imong gusto i-investigate, unsa imong gusto studyhan, then that is when we decide on what type of study it is. So, una sa jud kung unsa jud imong gusto studyhan una. Okay, unsa imong gusto studyhan, amo ni siya about sa uniform, about sa bullying, about sa productivity level sa mga bata. So once we have already established that, that is the time that we identify what kind of quantitative research it is. Let's start with the experimental research. So there are two, diba? We have true and quasi-experimental. So with true experimental research, this design is to identify the cause and effect relationship. So there is an established cause and effect. You can easily point out unsa ang rason ngano nausab ang behavior ani, ngano nausab man ang kani siya nga experiment tungod sa independent variable, no, na may na-manipulate ng mga variable to have an effect on the other variable. So there is an established cause and effect. You can easily identify this is the reason why this variable changes in behavior, changes in how they adapt, or changes pod when it comes to its growth, its weight, no? So the samples here are randomized, meaning we don't determine our participants. No, we just select. We don't determine kung unsa sila nga classification. We just select them as long as they're willing to participate. Like, ikaw willing ka participate sa experiment, so you'll come, no? And then ang isa pa jud, if you want to be a participant in the experiment, so you'll be part of the participants, diba? So there is a cause and effect relationship, and the participants or the samples are randomized. An example, to find out if sunlight affects the growth of plants, we have three setups. Set A is to grow a seed that will receive ample amount of sunlight. Set B, so very familiar, no? But this one is not colored lights. This is the amount of sunlight. Set B is a seed that will place where the sunlight is limited. Set C is a seed that will be placed completely in the dark. All of them will be planted in the same type of soil and will be given equal amounts of water, and the results will be recorded after days of observation. Why are they true experimental? Kay tungod gigrupo ra man nimo ang plants regardless kung sa sila nga species. Example, kani siya mga tanom, gatapok ni sila. So, sa ni katapok, set A. Kani, lain ni siya nga type of tanom, gatapok ni mo sila, set B. Kani, set C. Ba? So, it's random. You don't classify them according to species. You just place them in different sets, no? Regardless kung sa sila nga species or unsa nga type of plant. Next is the quasi-experimental research. So, kung si true experimental research is random, okay, random sampling. Si quasi is non-random. So, pareha sa silang duha, no? Silang duha, si true ug si quasi, same ra sila og function. They can determine causal relationships with the use of dependent and independent variable. The only problem lang or the only difference lang with quasi-experimental is that they do not use random samples but assigned samples. Meaning, i-classify tika according to asa ka nga group na belong. So, non-random ang ilahang respondents or sample size. Example of this is you wish to know the effect of height on milk brand preference. Lahi bang preference sa gatas sa mga putot, no? Lahi bang preference ni mga tag-as when it comes to gatas, no? So, atong i-prove if lain-lain bang preferences sa kada tawo depende silang height. So, true experiments would have to randomly assign respondents to groups where they would be subjected to taste test in order to know which brand they prefer, regardless of their height. But, since quasi-experimental ta, And height is an innate characteristic of a person. Respondents cannot be randomly assigned to groups. Instead, igrupo nimo sila, no? You will group your respondents according to their height. Pila siya ka centimeters, no? Or pila siya ka inches. So, igrupo nimo sila according to their height, depending on the bracket that you set. So that we can know if there is really a difference between midget or small ag height compared to sa katong mga tall ag height. So once gani nga we classify our respondents, that is already quasi-experimental. But if we only group them at random and choose them randomly, then that is true experimental research. Okay, to continue, so let us proceed with descriptive research. So for descriptive research is under non-experimental. So we are done with experimental. Now let us proceed with the non-experimental research. So there are three. We have comparative, no, and we also have correlational, and we also have descriptive research. In other versions, um, non-experimental research, naapoy lain nga type of research, no, but we will just stick with this one para it's easier for us to remember, no, and also to comprehend. So we have descriptive, no, it's a non-experimental research design focuses on the description of factors, variables, or phenomena that occur in nature. We don't compare variables, we don't identify if there are relationships between variables. We just have to describe the current situation or the phenomenon at hand. Take for example, my type of study is a descriptive type of research, because I would just like to identify if San Carlos City has a potential as a MICE tourism destination or an events tourism destination. If it does have its potential, okay, then meaning, ready na San Carlos City to be like Iloilo that can host big events. If not, what are the areas man nga kinahanglan ni improve ni San Carlos City in order for the city to host big events and be like a MICE tourism destination like Iloilo City. Okay? So, it basically just describes, no, wala ko compare to variables, like i-compare na ko if asa sa two groups of student ang mas productive at school, katubang na ay saktong oras sa tulog or katong kulang ang oras sa tulog, no? And then if correlational ba siya, no? If related ba ang hours of sleep sa productivity level sa bata? So wala man taga-ingana nga type of research, no. In fact, ato is just a descriptive type of research. We just like to identify no kana mga level of acceptance or levels of proficiency. Those are just examples of descriptive type of research. You are just merely describing the current situation or the phenomena nga nag-occur sa study. So the example ani is you want to identify the factors that contribute to the spoilage of food. A survey is conducted to know about food spoilage. So you can use descriptive statistics like mean, median, and mode. That's why it's called descriptive type of research. Kaya the type of statistics also nga ginagamit is descriptive. Okay? So from the results of that survey you conducted, for example, you observe that the frequency for temperature as a factor is the highest. So, imo siyang gipapili ra, no? Gipapili nimo sa mga factors diri ang mostly ga-contribute sa pagpanos or pag-spoil sa food. This means that the temperature contributes to food spoilage the most. So, you can see wala taga-compare, no? Wala taga-compare og variables, wala taga-identify og unsa ang relationship between two variables. We just want to know which is the most common factor ngano dali ma-spoil ang pagkaon. Okay, next is ang comparative research. Sometimes it's called a causal comparative research because its primary objective is to compare two variables, whether there exists a causative relationship between them. This kind of research usually involves two or more groups and one independent variable. Unsa example ani niya, no? Because we are comparing two groups of respondents, no? So you want to know if attendance to the school summers program is the cause of students' increase in class participation. So nagkuha kag two groups of students, no? The first group is those who enrolled in the summer program, and the second group is for those who did not enroll in the summer program. So you collected data on their individual class participation. After analyzing the data, you concluded that the summer program helped the students in participating more in class. So out of the two groups of students, ang katong ning apil og summer class ang mas participative. Okay? So, kung mag-comparative ganita na atay two groups of respondents and we compare them to an independent and one independent variable. Next is ang correlational research. So from the word itself, correlational or relationship, no, you want to identify if naay relationship nga nag-exist between two variables. Do not be confused about causal and correlational, ha. The difference between them is that si causal research or si experimental research, we can easily identify if this independent variable is the main reason nga nag-usab si dependent variable. Like, ay, kabalo ko nga nag-usab ang plant growth, kay gi-expose mong gud nako siya sa kaning nga colored light. Or gi-expose nako siya sa independent variable which is ang sunlight. There is actually a direct cause and effect relationship. But for correlational research, we cannot easily point out if this is the main reason why. Maybe it could be one of the contributing factors nga no na ay changes sa dependent variable pero dili ra siya ang mao ang rason. Okay? So ato is the proximity of the relationship ratong gusto mabalaan. An example of this is kani siya, no, kani nga type of study. You want to know if there is a significant relationship between the length of sleep and student productivity. That's why mukuha ka og data on length of sleep based on the bedtime and waking up time of the students. Data on the student productivity is based on the number of activities being finished every day. So, you want to know if ang katubang taas og sleeping time increase mo ba lang student productivity. Kay pag survey man gud nimo sa ilaha, imo silang gipangutan na pila sila ka number of hours mo sleep, no, based on their bedtime and waking time. Tapos gipangutan na pa jud nimo sila if pila ka activities ilang mahuman within a day and if mahuman ba nila tanan. So, di nimo bantayan, no, nga the closer the length of sleep is to 8 hours, the more nga daghan ang activities nga mahuman, or the more the higher the number of activities done. So you concluded from your survey that there exists a direct relationship between the length of sleep and student productivity. But there is no cause and effect relationship. Why? There could also be several reasons that contributes to why the student is productive, and it's not just the hours of sleep, no. Could be number 1, the activities are just easy to finish. 2, the activities are not that plenty. 3, one contributing factor could be nga walay makadisturbo sa estudyante, no, dili siya working student, wala siya other obligations, siya is pag-eskwela lang. Or could be nga inspired lang siya mo trabaho kay tungod classmates sa siyang crush, no? So those could be one of those contributing factors nga na productive si student. So there's no exact cause and effect relationship that exists between the two variables, just the proximity of its relationship. Okay? Kay syempre personal, no, common sense naman na nga ay less ang number of hours of sleep sa bata. 4 hours lang nya, less pa jud ang activity yang mahuman kay tungod working student siya, maglilo siya balance yang time, diba? So ta kabalo, no, and different ang case per student, different ang ilahang kuno, kay maski ang uban nga kompleto ang oras sa tulog, narabay ubang mga estudyante, no, nga masking they have complete hours of sleep but they are still not productive because it's not in their nature to finish activities on time, no. Sometimes you just like to procrastinate. So correlational research is different from causal research because we cannot easily point out that this is the reason why the dependent variable changes. This could be just one of the contributing factors, but is not the main reason. Okay, so for quantitative research, it might either be experimental or non-experimental. It still depends on the scope and type of research that you are pursuing. Oh, so this will be skip na lang, no? Because what I want you to do is, since you are aware naman already what is the difference between correlational, comparative, descriptive, experimental, and non-experimental research, I want you to finalize your title because our deadline supposedly is ato pang Friday, no? October 4. But I haven't received any paman from users, so you have to complete your title within next week. That is already overdue na unta, no? So that you can also watch the other recording that I will be sending over to our Google Classroom sa lain to dako siya nga klase per ako lang isan sa imuha on how to make the introduction, because this coming October 12, no, next Saturday, I will not be around to teach you because we have our foundation day, no. Our foundation day will start from Friday, Saturday, Sunday until next week pa jud, no. So mahulog og tag 2 weeks sa mong foundation day. It will start October 11 and it will end on October 19. So hulog jud di ay og tag 3 ka Saturdays, no, gahapon wala kay Teachers Day. Teachers Day sa public, no, dito sa auditorium, and then next Saturday dito ka meet kay tungod second day sa foundation day, and then the Saturday after that, no, that will be October 19 because it will be our awarding for our intramurals and foundation day. So we have 3 Saturdays, no, then it would really take a lot of time, no, sayang kaayo. So I want you to maximize on it. So please, no, kapilan ako nag-asa title. It's the second week, and then manog third week to ko nga mo asa title. So please send the title so that I can finalize and correct it. And then you can start by next Saturday, October 19 until October 12 until October 19, mahuman na ang tibuok introduction nimo, sir. Kay taas pa kayong process and research writing, although we are going to just finish chapters 1 to 2, but it is still vital that we finish it before the end of December, because December is the end of the semester. Okay. So always remember that the word effect is indicative that the research study aims to understand a cause and effect relationship attributed to comparative, experimental, or quasi-experimental research. So once that you see like cause and effect or effect, usually it's attributed to quasi-experimental for cause and effect, and kung effect gani siya, pwede po siya sa comparative or purely experimental research. But when we hear like the word relationship or correlation, it is a clue that the study is either comparative or correlational. Now, from the word correlational, relationship, no? So, if you want to know the relationship between two variables, it has no cause and effect relationship, but just relationship lang between the variables, then that's correlation. But if you are comparing two variables, like the one that I just gave you, no? Katong duha ka grupo sa estudyante, ang usa wala nag-summer, ang usa nag-summer. So asa ang mas improve og academic performance, no? Katubang grupo nga nag-summer or katong wala. And that is comparative. Okay. So, how can quantitative research generalize an entire population? Through sample size. Okay, through sampling, no? We don't get the entire population of, like, let's say your scope is in Carlos City and you cannot get like 2,000 or 3,000 total respondents, no? Kaya mo na ang, let's say, total population of sa San Carlos City. Let's just place it at that, no? You can't get all of them because it will be too impractical and counterproductive. So you'll only get a substantial amount of respondents that will, or a substantial amount of sample size that will represent the entire population. So out of 3,000, we compute it through Sloven's formula, and mo na mo gawas, maabot na siya siguro around 300, 500 respondents lang. So mas less na compared to the 3,000. What are the types of experimental and non-experimental quantitative research? So syempre, no, under experimental, we have true experimental, quasi-experimental, For non-experimental, we have descriptive, correlational, and comparative. Okay. So identify the best type of quantitative research for the following research topic. Robbie wants to assess the reading skills of street children and identify the possible programs that could help improve their skills. What type of quantitative research is this? Okay, so this is a descriptive type of research, no? Nga na descriptive man, kay wala man ka nag-compare og two variables. Wala man po ka nang set og relationship between two variables. It's not an experimental type of research. You just want to assess kung unsa ang reading skills sa mga street children. Okay? Kung saan pa na lang reading proficiency nila ba? So, is it poor or is it proficient? And then, once ma-identify nimo if poor, for example, ang reading skills sa mga street children, unsay ma-come up nimo nga mga programs, intervention programs para ma-improve ilang skills. So that is descriptive because you're only going to know the level of proficiency nila in reading. You're not going to know the effect or not going to know the relationship. So let us remember that quantitative deals with numerical values and how they can describe a phenomenon or infer a relationship. It's different from qualitative that deals more on subjective responses based on the experiences, no, lived experiences. Kana gay mga study nga mo mabasahan no nga lived experiences of the teacher. So that's qualitative. So it's more on numerical man si quanti because we deal with numerical data and close-ended questions in our questionnaire. So let us remember there are several characteristics of quantitative research. This includes controllability, generalizability, objectivity, and replicability. Quantitative research tests hypotheses which are based on variables that can either be independent or dependent. And quantitative research may be experimental, true experimental or quasi-experimental, or non-experimental like descriptive, comparative, and correlational. So that ends my very short discussion for types of research, no? So please sir, I will be leaving this in our Google Classroom. So just watch this from time to time, this recording from time to time. Appeal na po ng katong new daan ako nga recording video on how to make the introduction. You have 2 weeks to do this because we will not be meeting for 2 Saturdays starting October 12, no? Until October 19. So please work on this one. We are so behind schedule and I really hope nga I can receive na your title. Okay? So thank you so much and have a great afternoon.